Hello, this is Ferdinand the Cardboard Stacker, and welcome to How to Play Kuiperium, a two-player sci-fi game of space, mining, and research from Whitewater Castle. This game was designed by Matt Cousineau and Steve Cassell. A game of Kuiperium plays around 60 minutes and is for ages 14 and up. This is a learn in a turn video where you learn as the game plays, in a turn or two or as many needed. We divided this video into chapters. If you want to view a specific rule from the game, you can find the list of rules in the description below. Have a question or something nice to say? Leave a comment. And it would be a wonderful and tremendous help if you can give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks! Earth. In the far future, in the time of the dying sun, two corporations compete to take control and order by unlocking the secrets of a newly found element, Kuiperium. Your objective: be the first to reach the end of the discovery track. To progress, you need discovery points. When you get a discovery point, you advance on the track. However, some spaces will require you to have a number of discovery points in order to move on them. So make sure that your actions bring enough or you won't progress at all. Let's do the setup. First, place the main board in the center of the playing area. Have each player sit on opposite sides of the main board's short side so they're face to face. Each player now places a player board in front of them so it is next to the main board. Now place the discovery board next to the main board. Each player chooses their player color and follow their setup. You can be orange and I'll be purple. First, place your discovery shuttle on the start location of the discovery track. Then place your 3 workers on their designated spots on your board. Then put the Kuiperium resource tokens on the discovery board. Next, shuffle the main deck of cards and place it on its spot on the discovery board. Each player draws 5 cards into their hand and keeps their hand secret from their opponent. If they wish, each player can return any number of cards to the bottom of the main deck and draw their hand back to 5 cards. Shuffle the strategy card deck and draw 3 strategy cards for each player, keeping them secret. Now give each player their infinity bonus tile and place it on their designated areas of their player board, with the active side face down. Great! We're done with setup. It's time to collect some precious Kuiperium. The game begins with a random player. Let's make that you. On each of your turns, you can take one of the 5 actions available. Play a card, play a worker, add a card to your secret lab, refresh your hand, recall a worker. Let's start with play a card. Take a card from your hand and place it on your side of the main board in one of the free spaces. That is the 3x8 area on your side, not passing the blue dividing line in the middle. The card must be touching any previous placed card on one of the starter locations, either by its sides or corners. You must make sure that the card is facing you, that is to say the card's text and effects should be facing you, while the other side, which are the recall rewards, is facing your opponent. I'll explain the recall rewards later. Go ahead and play Hyperspectral Imager. Notice the 4 corners of the card. It would be a good idea to match these corners with others. Matching up corner colors, called synergy, will yield discovery points except for black. Get these discovery points by activating the control center. Now, place the card in the space so the yellow corner matches up. Now you will activate the card's effect by reading its text. Here's the first part. Play a worker on the control center. Let's take one of your workers and place it on the control center. The big rule to note is that you can only place your workers on your opponent's side of the board. When you do place your worker, rewards or effects are not taken. You will gain the rewards when you use the recall worker action. The card has another effect. Then, if your opponent is further up the track, move a worker. Since I'm not ahead of you on the discovery track, this effect does not take place. Your turn is done. It's my turn. I play KP-N4V and I place it on my own side over here. Its effect is, force your opponent to choose and discard a card from their hand. Alright, you get to choose a card and place it in the discard pile on the discovery board. My turn is up, back to you. You want to play another card, Wormhole Probe, but its text has, must be played from your secret lab. This means you have to take an action to place it into your secret lab face down. Then you can play it later as an action from here. Quick note, you can only play one card into the secret lab at a time, and there can only be one card in the secret lab space. Although you may play any card into and from your secret lab. It's my turn again. I'll do the play a worker action and place one of my workers on one of your cards. Remember, I'm only interested in the part of the card that is facing me. Let's now go and place that card from your secret lab. Now that it's placed, activate its effect. You may take one additional action. Here's your additional action. For this action, why not add a worker? Move your worker onto this card. Back to me and I'll play a worker here. Now you play Hibernation Chamber. Its effect, for each worker your opponent has in your play area, gain a Kuiperium. I have 2 out on the board, so you get 2 Kuiperium. Now I'll place my last worker on this starting location. You play the KP-80S5, which does, look at your opponent's hand, choose a card and force them to play it as their next action. You choose Loading Dock. On my turn, I have to play Loading Dock and place it here. From this card, I get 3 research effects. Each research allows me to either draw a card from the deck or place a card from my hand to the secret lab. I draw 2 cards and place a card into the secret lab. Since I played a new card, you place your last available worker on it. Time for me to recall my workers and collect rewards. When doing this action, there has to be at least 1 worker on the main board. One at a time, I select a worker to resolve, get the card's reward, and return my worker to my player board. It's required for all workers to return when doing this action, and each worker must complete the resolve before moving on to the next one. First, I activate this worker on the silver card. I get a research and a Kuiperium. For the research, I draw 1 card. Next, I activate the one on the blue card. This one gives me 2 discovery points. When moving onto the discovery board, a player can only progress as long as there's enough points when advancing through the path to the next space. So the first space I move to requires 1. Now, there's a branching path. I cannot move onto the path going into the 2-point space since I don't have enough to enter it. So I will have to take the path with the 1-point space. Remember, a player cannot combine when recalling workers since each must resolve all on its own first before going to the next. This reward effect is destroy an opponent's Kuiperium. So say goodbye to your Kuiperium. Finally, I resolve the worker on the Spy network. Here the reward is, pay 1 Kuiperium back to the general supply and then discard a card from your side of the main board. For the moment, I think it would be best I don't use this effect, so I'll keep my Kuiperium. Now that all my workers have returned to my board, it's back to you. The last action that needs to be explained is refresh your hand. If you like to get new cards or don't like the cards in your hand, or even if you don't have any cards, you can do this action. First, take all the cards in your hand and discard them. Then draw up to 4 cards. My turn and I place a worker. While you do have all your workers on the board, the control center requires you to pay 4 Kuiperium in order to use its ability. So let's play a card instead. You play the KPC45H, which effect is, for each other red card you control, gain 1 Kuiperium each, max 3. You have one other red card, so you gain 1 Kuiperium. For my action, I play Hecatome Pollinizer, which does gain 1 Kuiperium. Since I didn't play this card from my secret lab, I don't get the extra effect of the card. For your action, you play Kuipometer Drones, which does reveal and discard the top card of the deck. Gain the card's recall reward. You flip over Curvature Propulsion Engine into the discard pile. This card's recall reward is for 2 Kuiperium. My turn again, and I place my second worker. Alright, looks like you're going to recall your workers. Let's do this on the red card. First, you destroy one of my Kuiperium, then you gain a Kuiperium. Next, you recall the worker on this blue card. First, it gives you 2 research, so you draw 2 cards. Then it will give you this reward. As you can see, this one is on a different background, so in order to receive this reward, all 3 of your workers need to be on the board when you do the recall worker action. So you gain 1 discovery point. Finally, you recall your worker on the control center. Doing so will give you discovery points. The control center requires 4 Kuiperium in order to use its ability. You do have enough, so you can do the ability. So here's how the action works. First, you need to select a card in your area. You choose the Wormhole Probe. First, you need to check each of the card's corner for synergy, any adjacent corner that match by color. The black corners are not counted, so no points will be given there. The Wormhole Probe is one of the few cards that have wild corners. The way wild corners work is that a color is chosen and any adjacent matching colors will be used to score. On one side, a wild is touching 2 yellow corners, so pick yellow and 2 discovery points are rewarded. The other wild corner touches 2 green and 1 yellow. You'll get the 2 points by selecting green, while the yellow will only give 1 point. In total, you get to advance 4 spaces on the discovery board. You are currently on a branching path, so you need at least 2 discovery points to go on this space. When your ship moves here, you get 2 Kuiperium. You got 2 more discovery points. You follow the line over here, then to over here. The last thing you must do for the control center is you have to jettison the card. You must remove the card from the main board and discard it. As a bonus for jettisoning a card, you get to flip an affinity bonus tile and its effect becomes active. The blue card affinity bonus is, when you play a blue card, you may also play a worker or destroy your opponent's Kuiperium and take a Kuiperium. Looks like that covers the main rules of the game. Here are a few other rules I like to mention. In the beginning of the game, you receive 3 strategy cards. Once you reach this space on the discovery track, you must choose one of the cards. You can activate them at any time. Some of these abilities are powerful, but they may require a cost. The Spy Network area on the board, when used, will have the player spend 1 Kuiperium and discard a card on their side of the game board. Usually, you choose a card that has an opponent's worker on it. Then it is returned back to the player's board. Cards or a group of cards may not be connected, but that is perfectly fine. This concludes the Learn in a Turn video to Kuiperium. For more information about this game, please visit whitewatercastle.com/Kuiperium. The Cardboard Stacker likes to give special thanks to the game creators for making this video possible. And I'd like to thank you for watching. For more videos like these, including how to place and playthroughs, come visit the Cardboard Stacker on YouTube and at our website, thecardboardstacker.com. Thanks again, and as always, I'm here to remind you to keep on stacking games.